Hey, my name is Jonathan, and I'm doing my vlog in the middle of a veterans cemetery, not for poetic reasons, for poetic license, just because I think it's really cool out here. I love old cemeteries like this. So it's awesome out here. I'm not doing it because of this vlog. But I'm doing one of my crazy vlogs because back December of last year, God gave me a vision about the United States of America that the entire New Madrid fault line would collapse into the sea, and that God would literally obliterate half the United States of America off the face of the earth. And God gave me a vision about it last December, and also a second vision last January. So I did the vlog, even though I'm a crazy person, because God showed me 9/11 3 years before it happened. So when God gives me a vision, God tells me something, it always happens. So I did a vlog back then warning people about massive earthquake happening down the New Madrid fault line, the entire United States, the entire North American continent folding and collapsing into itself. So I figured, well, I'm a crazy person, no one's gonna care, and so I don't mind being crazy, looking crazy and stupid anyway. So I was wondering, well, what's the science behind that? So 3 months ago, I was asking God about that. Well, what's the science, behind this massive earthquake? And God told me fracking. Fracking, that's what God told me. So I didn't think much about it. But okay, last night I was studying fracking, and I was so shocked because I went to this anti-fracking website, and it showed a map on this anti-fracking website of all the fracking that's going on in the United States of America and the future fracking sites. They're showing frack accidents on both sides of the Mississippi River. There's all this fracking right around, within hundreds of miles of radius around the Mississippi River. It showed putting stress on the New Madrid Seismic Zone. And I was shocked, and God told me then that is the science behind the earthquake that's going to happen between 10 to 40 years from now. That's my guess, because I'm not very good with time. But my guess is this earthquake will happen 10 to 40 years from now. And I'm not an alarmist, not really. I'm not a geologist or not a seismologist, not a scientist at all. I'm just love Jesus. But I saw this map, and all fracking's putting so much stress on the New Madrid fault line. And there are geological surveys that have already registered earthquakes related to fracking all across mid-America. And recently, the Oklahoma Geological Survey showed that in Arkansas, traditionally there are only 2 earthquakes in Arkansas a year, but related to fracking, the Oklahoma Geological Survey said that because of fracking, because of hydraulic fracturing by these gas companies in Arkansas, there are now in the last 2 years, there are now 54 earthquakes a year in Arkansas. And they said it's caused by pressure changes due to excessive fluid injected deep below the surface by fracking. And also, the United States Geological Survey has just come out with a study that said between 2010 and 2012, there have been 300 earthquakes in central and eastern U.S. with a magnitude of above 3.0, compared with the average of just 21 earthquakes annually around central and U.S. And the U.S. Geological Survey said it's because of injecting fluid underground increases pressure on seismic faults and makes them more likely to slip. The imagery I have is a sheet of ice on a sidewalk, and you're walking on the sidewalk and you just slip. Now, that's not a very good analogy, but that's the analogy I came up with. And so the United States Geological Survey, they said this will not cause a mega earthquake. I'm the only one that's saying that fracking is going to cause such a huge, major earthquake that half the United States of America is just going to collapse into the Gulf of Mexico, and the Gulf of Mexico will just rush in the entire continent. I'm the only one that's saying that because I'm the one that's crazy, but there is some science behind this. So, but the seismologists at Columbia University have come out with an independent study, and they say there's going to be a cumulative effect, putting pressure on these major faults, like the New Madrid fault line. And the seismologists at Columbia University have recently came out with a study saying that there's fracking-linked increases in induced earthquakes in Oklahoma, in Arkansas, in Ohio, in Texas, and Colorado. And so they're giving a more serious assessment than the USGS. And these seismologists say that fluids are driving the faults to their tipping point. The faults there's so much pressure on the faults that they're coming to a tipping point. And that there's a cumulative effect, these Columbia scientists said, and that wastewater injection leaves local faults critically loaded. And they've also given a term like dynamic triggering, which they say, these seismologists at Columbia University say that earthquakes from the other side of the world causes remote triggering of frac-affected faults in the U.S. Like last year, there's an earthquake in Latin America somewhere, and it caused an earthquake in Texas, destroying 14 homes, causing property damage. And that was a fracking site in Texas. This happened. So these seismologists, Columbia University, saying that there will be big earthquakes greater than 5.0, but they're not saying it like I'm the only one that's saying that fracking is going to cause a massive earthquake, putting so much pressure on the New Madrid fault line that the New Madrid fault line will completely collapse, and there'll be such a catastrophic earthquake in the United States of America. Now, you have not heard about this in the news, and I'm the first one you've heard me say this about, because the gas and oil industry have successfully muzzled the EPA research into this. And basically, big industry, big companies, big business owns U.S. Congress, and so there's not going to be any EPA research into this, and they own the media as well, so you're not going to hear about it. So, yeah, this is so serious, dude. Okay, so we could put regulation, through the Reagan years and up to the 90s, there's been so much deregulation on big business. You could say, well, let's put some re-regulation. It's almost impossible to do that because the power of big gas and big oil is so huge. But trying to re-regulate a gas or oil company after it's gained enormous profits from deregulation, that is like trying to put clothes back on a coal miner, back on a horny coal miner, after he's stripped naked and just running loose in a whorehouse. That is my analogy of re-regulation. I'm a horny person, so I had to come up with an analogy like that. So, but there is a correlation between fracking leading to a massive earthquake in the United States of America, the New Madrid fault completely collapsing, and our invading Iraq, our invading all these countries related to oil the last few years, our corporate greed. There is a correlation between fracking and God's judgment, because God will bring judgment on the United States of America through this earthquake, because the United States of America steals from the poor all around the world through our neoliberal economic policies. And we have killed millions of innocent civilians all around the world related to corporate greed, related to our neoliberal economic policies. So, I mean, there is a God, and He will bring justice to the poor. He will bring justice to those who are oppressed, and He will bring justice to those who are innocent. So, yeah, so that's... Oh, I got hair on my mouth. That's all I'm saying, is that there will be a massive earthquake in the next 10 to 40 years down the New Madrid fault line. The New Madrid fault line will completely collapse because of fracking. So I wanted to warn you and say that you're awesome and I love you so much. All right, bye.